Game number 2, which battleground would you like to see?
I would assume Germany would want to take the battleground choice. So what is the next PvE favored map?
What's gone?
Braxis and Pirates.
Yeah.
Is there one more off-meta map?
There is?
There is Haunted Mines.
I think Haunted Mines.
And that's
I
where we're going to.
Yeah!
We're being sent downstairs and down below because the Haunted Mines will be unleashed, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue the tradition of when the German team plays, nothing stays how you would expect it to go.
Yeah, things aren't always as they seem when you play against Team Germany. But we saw how well their own map choice went in the last series, and this is a map where it's potentially even more difficult to avoid team fights due to it only being a 2-lane map.
All right, so Haunted Mines. The Danes, they certainly knew how to deal with the Vikings. What is an off-meta, really hard to deal with pick for the Mines potentially, Baker? Can you think of anything?
Well, I'm thinking of something. I don't think it's very good, but I am going to mention it. It's Sylvanas.
Yeah.
She's a hero that is used to great effectiveness with the Sappers because of her very attainable mercenary queen talent.
Yep.
Whereas on other heroes, it's much harder to justify picking that.
Mercenary Queen, a level 1 talent for Sylvanas, doesn't actually compete with a huge amount. Like you have the extra mercenary and minion disable, or the extra shot, which can be great if you're in lane for a lot of time, which on this map you are. But those buffed sappers are hard to argue against.
A hero that I do want to bring up when talking about Haunted Mines is Stukov, because I think he adds lane pressure and zoning potential like hardly any other hero, right?
And deny sappers. We saw it already on Towers of Doom today.
Yeah, very true. All right, guys, you see it in the bottom corner of your screen. If you want to vote and let us know who you're supporting, then type in hashtag DKWin. If you think Denmark is going to carry that momentum all the way through, or type in hashtag DEWin if you think the Germans can tie it up and take us to game number 3.
And remember, if Denmark win 2-0, they are taking us to a 3-way tie, which will get really interesting at the end of today. So
yes, we will explain that situation more a little bit later if the situation arises. As we see currently, a lot of faith in Team Denmark, 75-25.
Don't underestimate the German team, though. We have seen a very similar approach, or a very similar, you know, progress in the lane or in the series against Belgium, where they dropped the first game very convincingly, but all of a sudden, heroes like Varian and Leoric were locked in, and boom, they won the series 2-1.
Very true. A Chromie start coming in here for Team Denmark. Wants to put on some lane pressure.
now it does look a bit weird on the map, but then you have to remember at the highest level, people do not go in the mines currently on this map. So Chromie makes perfect sense, very strong at controlling the lanes and denying and also taking the sapper camps.
A slightly more standard start by Team Germany, but of course, Greymane very good at that PvE aspect, and there are Siege Giants on this map as well as the Sappers.
Veigar still available, which I would like to see from Denmark here.
And let's not forget about Mings on that Greymane. He was bringing us the heat and putting on a clinic when he last picked it on Towers of Doom.
So we haven't actually mentioned it too much, but the fact that Denmark have banned the Tassadar both of the games so far, 100% a attempted prevention for Nunia going for that Tracer style.
Yeah.
I would say so, yeah.
Johanna coming in. We've seen mixed results depending on which role she had to fulfill. Solo tank, not so good. Second tank, maybe. At least Russia was able to win there.
Fun to combo with Chromie though. If you can get the combo to set up with Johanna Condemn into that Chromie Dragon Breath, you're going to have a wonderful time. But if you are the solo tank, you can be punished if you cannot execute it completely accurately.
Especially with that subdue talent at level 7. Now, the thing that people always talk about is how hard it is to complete. But the great thing about that talent, and why we do see it all the time, is you don't need to complete it. It does just buff it to an 80% slow for a short period of time. And that it gives Chromie a lot of potential to combo on that Condemn plus Subdue combination.
Yeah, and speaking of movement speed slows, guys, there's a lot of that stuff available. As you mentioned, Johanna, Subdue later on, slowing stance to begin with, and in those narrow choke points near the mercenary camps, like in the mines especially, if you try to engage into a Johanna Chromie who have all set up their position, You may as well just not go there.
Even the Rhaegar Totem extra slows to be added in as well. And Germany, they're like, okay, this is a bit too much. Let's stop you getting more slows by banning out the Arthurs. And of course, Arthur's exceptionally effective against the Greymane.
You know what I want to see there? Sorry, Bakery. I want to see a Lunara coming in there potentially, and then just benefit from all those slowing effects. Speaking of Lunara, we haven't seen it once.
Yeah, no, that's bold. Lunara definitely fallen out of the meta right now, but if she was going to be picked, this might be a fantastic situation for it. I would like to see Denmark ban Uther, hope that Germany do not take Brightwing. Okay, well, they didn't do it, but anyway. But then pick the Brightwing themselves and use Temporal Loop to secure a kill onto ETC or onto Greymane.
Now, though, Germany has the option for either Brightwing or Uther, or even both if they want to go for a double support, both of which, so several cleanse heroes available which are going to prevent the temporal loop strategy.
Most likely, yes.
All right, let's see. Arthas is out of the race, so is Sonya. That eliminates two pretty strong frontliners as well. By the same token, it could allow other assassins to step in. Most importantly, melee assassins like Illidan potentially, or other attack-based characters.
Illidan has always had a home on the Haunted Mine because he is great at taking sappers, he's great at taking those siege giants as well, and he's also great at taking the skulls down in the mines quickly.
Yep, and as you say, most teams don't go into the mines, but that's because it takes a very long time, and lane pressure and the mercenaries on this map are very important. Illidan, like you said, can do them quickly and alone without anyone to help him sustain, so he can do a lot with that kind of strategy.
It looks like Temporal Loop might be back on the table because Lieutenant Morales, who no longer has cleanse, has been locked in for Germany.
All right, and the Leoric, once again, it worked last time when they faced their opponents on Towers of Doom. They managed to tie it out and win the series. Now, I want to talk about Nunez's pick here because I don't think he's going to be the main support. Is the Tracer still an option? He's a godlike beast on that hero.
With solo support Morales, it was what it would be.
It's doable. You do have to be scared, of course, of the lack of a cleanse, but at the same time, Tracer Morales is a very scary combination because Tracer can be healed up to full a lot of the time and also very quickly.
Yeah, you do have to bear in mind, though, that Morales has very limited range and the healing is over time. So Tracer has to be very mindful as to the positioning of her Morales so that she does not go too deep and gets blown up immediately.
3 seconds left on the clock here. What are the Danes going to pull out here? It is the Stitches and the Vala. Stitches, we haven't seen him a lot, but when he was picked, he was normally performing quite well.
It was. We've seen both Gorge and Putrid Bile style Stitches. The Gorge ones worked okay sometimes, and not so well the others, but once again, they have Chromie. Gorge might work out very nicely, and if not, even more slows for this team.
Okay.
It is double tank Johanna, which we did say was statistically the more successful style of Johanna, but Stitches Johanna, I'm not sure that's enough damage.
What about Medivh here?
To block the engage? To block
it's going against Chromie as well.
Yeah, I quite like it. That sounds pretty reasonable. It's extra protection for Greymane. Leyline is a very solid counter if Stitches is going for the Putrid Bile style, and if not, it just prevents him running away with your ally if he does get a Gorge.
But of course, it is a hero that is hard to play and is not in many people's hero pools.
Absolutely, and I do not know if Germany has a dedicated player to pick them in team.
Oh.
They go for Jaina, and not just any Jaina.
Yeah, Dreadlord Jaina skin indeed, and well, they have a hell of a wombo. If they want to do that, their blow-up potential from Team Germany is very solid.
What can Jaina bring to the table on Haunted Mines? Is that a battleground that's particularly good for her, or do you think the reason behind it is a different one?
I don't quite see the reason just yet. Haunted Mines is not usually a very favorable battleground for Jaina. Once the forts go down, which they usually do because of the sappers and because of the golems, she's very vulnerable and it's very easy to get a flank on her, especially when you have two tanks.
Very true. She can become very vulnerable in those later game scenarios. She's not got an escape of her own, but then again, neither does Morales. The backline of Germany is just consistently vulnerable as is. Their damage output, however, is very high against a solo Rhaegar healer if that Ancestral is just a little bit too late, that could be the key Germany needs for victory.
All right, it's been a while since we've last seen Jaina. What's the current playstyle that we see from her? Which heroic ability would you give sway to? Which build in general, Bakery?
That's a tough one. I most likely predict that we're going to see a Q build, and we're probably going to see Ring of Frost to combo on the Entomb or even on the Mosh Pit.
All right, let's find out what the Jaina is going to bring to the table here as we go into game number 3 on Haunted Mines, and Tetra is going to introduce you to the team that feels the Jaina, Team Germany.
They only need this win to guarantee themselves through to the playoffs. It's Team Germany with Mix, Ribby, Born, Nudia, and playing that Leoric chilling at the middle gate, it's gonna be Brain.
And their opponents, they need to win one more to bring us to a tiebreaker situation. It is the Danish team featuring Youngbeck, Nyman, Dizzy Dwarf. Then we also have Dreamy and Valnut.
So, we see Leoric grabbing the Watchtower for his team, whereas it's a full group up for Denmark, and this is the idea. If someone was to try and raid this Watchtower, like this lovely Leoric here, they could attempt a hook kill onto Leoric. He does have Wraith Walk though, so it's very unlikely they'd be able to finish him. If it was anyone else, they could have made an attempt.
All right, already this first pushing attempt was scouted by the Danes. No early shenanigans going on in the top lane. Leoric swiftly shifting down to the bottom lane. He's going to face Stitches. That's a very favorable matchup for him, because the more HP your opponent has, the more value Drain Hope is going to give you.
Nudia takes a lovely chunk of damage and gets healed up by Ribby. Ribby already completely out of energy, but this can be changed once we hit the next level, where, sorry, the next talent tier, where the Morales can take the Blast Shield and give herself that extra energy regen.
Yeah, very true. Not just energy regeneration, it's also a shield that whenever you hit the enemy hero is going to be applied to you. Now the Jaina dropping the Blizzard on the minion wave. The wave clear is definitely favoring the German team, but it is not like the Danish team doesn't have anything against it. Johanna, Rega Lightning Shield, and even the Chromie and the Vala all can clear waves very quickly. In the meantime, Stitch is doing his thing. Dizzy Dwarf looking good so far, but rotations are already about to happen.
Stitch is not the most common solo laner in general, due to the fact that he does have really good regen, but against Leoric and stuff like that, percentage damage is wonderful. And of course, until later game, Stitches does not have the best wave clear.
Exactly. The Zapper camp in the meantime in the top lane was taken by the Germans, and they are now going to try to use those guys to apply a little bit of extra pressure. Look at them go. One goes down. The second one is going to hit the gate as well. And Johanna dropping a little bit low here.
Power slide, and that Blizzard forcing Youngbeck to take an alternate route. 2 of the Sappers made it in. The third one does die, but they were still able to take down the entire front wall.
And the thing is, when you have a Stitches on the solo lane, you cannot go for those early picks. You won't have the hook available. While by the same token, Brain on the Leoric is such a solid and safe solo laner who's incredibly hard to gank.
Nice raid here by Youngbeck, and this will allow his team to steal away that Sapper camp. Very nice shot calling here by Dream and whoever made that decision to try and raid the camp.
Yeah, really true. Now we see the mercenaries coming in the bottom lane. Brain is getting reinforced by Ribby, and one more hero. Nuni, in the meantime, already going sneakily into the mines. He's trying to clear a couple of those. And of course, when you see those numbers in the bottom right corner of your screen go up, then you know what's up, and you can apply more pressure on lane. You can go for an invade on the mercenaries. So the Danish team can really do a couple of things here. Oh, no, okay. Nobody saw that. Nobody saw that.
No one's already anything. As Jada starts to run low on mana, she's already managed to get us to her team's 16th skull. She's just going to port back. So, little sneaky move. We were talking about Illidan doing a very similar thing. And we get Jada, which is strange, but it works.
There we go. In the meantime, a siege battle is going on here in the bottom lane. Denmark, Healing Totem is keeping everybody alive. Very well placed here, out of range of the grenade by Morales and the Leoric. In the meantime, though, Jaina returns to the surface, and she is now trying to help with the mercenaries here with Minx.
And they're going to be able to take some more Sappers, and this is the usual strategy, grabbing mercenaries on cooldown to see do as much as you can in terms of that fort pressure, so that if you ever get the Golem, it's potentially game ending.
All right, let's keep a close eye on Ribby here on the Morales. His energy count is going to be very, very important, because once you're out of energy, the team is probably going to have to retreat. Born going for a dashes play here.
Good safeguard here by Morales. That really did protect Born from that huge Chromie combo. Youngbeck also taking a lot of damage, but able to tank through.
All right, so no more Zappers available, but both Siege Giants camps are still there and ready to be taken. In the meantime, Brain is just dominating this lane. Why? There's only so much Stitches can do, and the German team really seems to have the timing on lockdown here. Already, they're going for the next Zapper camp at the bottom, and they're too fast. The Danish team arrived just too late.
Hook landing onto Jaina, who immediately throws out a cone of cold to do some harass damage.
Brain doesn't have any
might
Wraith Walk
have
more.
to Wraith Walk once it's on cooldown if it's available, which he does not. But Ribby keeps him alive.
Really nice save. I mean, the healing beam was there. The grenade completely broke the formation of the pursuing heroes here. That was the last second save here. I think Leoric would have died otherwise.
So we do see the Greymane this time popping into the mines, and this is an interesting strategy by Germany, sending one hero at a time every now and again, just picking up the skull slowly, and it's so far working. They're not losing too many structures. They're getting a couple, but they've actually sent Leoric in as well, now committing to 2.
And the mercenaries are buying them a little bit of time, comparable to Towers of Doom, where you pick mercenaries to get the turn in, you get mercenaries here to get a couple of skulls in the mines, and as long as they're not over-committing and get back to the surface in time to defend, it's definitely viable. It's definitely legit, and they do have a couple of heroes who can clear those ghoul camps very quickly. Leoric, Greymane, Jaina, those are all really good at that.
They are losing push potential right now while they have those heroes in the mine. Jaina was in the bot lane. She's now rotated up, and the Greymane is coming as well. Leoric leaves the mines to rejoin Stitches. They get to 52. They're already over the halfway point, and immediately you've seen the mines getting entered by Denmark. They realize they're bleeding mines here, and they were attempting to make a trap play.
And this is exactly what the Danish team was trying to do. They were trying to set a trap near the entrance. German team didn't fall for it, but immediately a retreat from the Danes because they realized, uh-oh, we may lose another Sapper camp if we don't come up again.
And they're able to raid it very nicely, and it worked out superbly for them. So nice play there.
Yeah, not too bad indeed, but the Zapper camp in the end was taken by Denmark. And with combined efforts, they're now trying to get something done. Nunia caught out of position. She's trapped against the wall. Can she actually get out? Gonna find out in a bit.
See in a minute. There we go. Nunia, in fact, did escape thanks to the healing of Ribby.
All right, sorry about that. Guys, we just had a little bit of a freeze going on. So, the Jaina was saved for now. In the meantime, the Danes are trying to get some skulls themselves. They only have 2 ghoul camps left available, and there is the big boss, of course, as well. The big boss, the big drawback of that one is it takes so long to finish, and while doing it, you may give your opponents plenty of chances to actually take mercenaries, to push the lanes, especially when you can't really get the majority of the golems anymore. It's normally not worth the cake.
There's also the chance that the enemy team will raid you while you are doing that.
Very
boss.
true.
It
very
has
true.
very high crowd control, so can be a big risk. Now, Denmark looking onto Born, but once again, Safeguard sits in here.
Nice hook.
To Born. He will have face melt back very shortly. Born is focused down, and that is actually first blood at 7 minutes.
Yeah, you're totally right. It took a little while until we saw some blood on the battlefield, and there was simply no way left for Born to run. He was caught in the tunnel. And the hook was just golden. It's not really hard to land it there, so still nice to have it though.
Exactly, as level 10 is now hit for Team Germany. They have Mosh Pit, March of the Black King. Question mark for Morales. Didn't go for Greymane or Medivac for herself to escape if she is hooked.
Tough one.
Ring of Frost, like we predicted, for the Jaina, and the Cursed Bullet for
That's
the
definitely a tough one. And the Germany team, they're trying to finish the big guy. They're baiting it and pulling it all the way to the left. So if they were to get ganked, they would see the time and they would have an entrance to pull back to, just in case.
Here comes Denmark, and Born will see them coming, grabs the cloak for his team.
Nice
They have
disengage.
Heroics are now available for Denmark. Born getting focused down. So much damage. Mosh Pit interrupted. As Born is focused down. Mosh Pit back into the backline. They're doing a lot of damage. Sim throwing Greymane does so much damage. Not the slowing stance. It's still too good. Brain now distracting for his team as they've already won the boss. 79 skulls to 21. But Denmark able to pick up 2 kills to 1.
Yeah, that was. It's hard to say who got the better inventory trick. I'm leaning towards Team Germany because they're going to get a mighty boss now. However, Denmark definitely salvaged the situation as good as they could. They killed 2 heroes, slowing down the push a little bit. Leoric will be back though, thanks to his sped up regeneration time and his strength.
So, how are Germany going to play it? So they are going to push with this boss here. The little tiny Denmark boss pushing in the bot lane, and the giant German boss pushing in, trying to take down the first fort of the game.
It's a giant German boss is pushing in the top lane. still. And Born is trying to buy a little bit of time here. The mosh pit was not triggered. Keep that in mind. It's available right now. It's only put on a 10-second cooldown.
Though on board. This Dreamy, I like the focus onto this ETC.
Very much.
Yeah, he's
very
tanky,
much.
but it's forcing Morales to use all her protection abilities. The forts did go down both sides.
Yep, actually true. So despite the fact that the Danish team had a much weaker boss, they could still get something done because no more towers were there and only a Lyric was left to defend. And Lyric, he's a pretty slow hitter, you know? He doesn't hit the boss very hard. It takes a while. So in the end, both teams traded fairly evenly here.
Yeah, exactly, but X and XP almost entirely equal as well, as both teams just begin re-rotating. We actually saw Chromie having to B due to some mana issues, but she has now returned.
Keep in mind the potential wombo combo potential by the German team. One mosh pit, Ring of Frost is all it needs. Nice dodge by Nunia, but Youngbeck wants to go in. He hasn't had enough.
Youngbeck takes a lot of damage though. Cursed Bullet and the Nunia combo doing a lot for him. Brain is almost certainly going to die here.
Oh, okay, the Drain Home lands. That was a nice juke.
Nicely done. He survives as Jaina is hooked in, drops the ring, hits no one. But the kill on the Johanna is good. Nunia stays alive and
Mosh pit is there!
Mosh pit. No hook for the interrupt. Rain of Vengeance, so Vala re-arrives, and that will save Vala onto Dreamy.
That was a last-second save by Vala there, beautifully interrupted with that Rain of Vengeance. That's exactly what they needed. The Johanna just got popped in a millisecond here. Rhaegar couldn't even save her in time. And once again, we don't want to talk about the Ring of Frost. I'm pretty sure that was just, you know.
It damaged the fort. Therefore, value. Speaking of which, the fort survived, so less value. That fort will go down very soon. It's very squishy. Just a rotation from the Yorick or even a Jade or a Greymane will finish that up.
Icy Veins at level 13 being locked in here for the Jaina. That is an activatable talent that allows you to cast your abilities much more quickly, and it also reduces the mana cost of them.
Which is wonderful for as the affectionately known machine gun Jaina build, spamming out those frost bolts as much as possible.
Which is, by the way, exactly the build Bakery had proposed during the analysis segment. So the more frost balls you can hit, the more damage you're going to be able to put out. Icy Veins helping in that regard. Quite a bit here. Now, the bottom lane, Born is guarding the entrance. If they go down here, oh, look at that. Clever usage of Time Walker's Pursuit, scouting out the mine exit so they wouldn't step into a trap here. Well done by the Danish team.
So instead, the play from Denmark here is to push in bot lane. Brain, the only hero down here, moves behind the gate in case
recalls are happening.
Warning pings are being used in case the German team came out of the entrance. Instead, they ported back, and now they are moving in.
Yeah, moving in indeed. Leoric comes in with the ominous raid. Is it going to be enough? No!
Frost! Ancestral lands on Stitches, keeping him alive. Mosh Pit is still not available, but they've already taken down Stitches. Draining onto Johanna. Beautiful Rain of Vengeance again by Vala, allowing Youngbeck a chance to escape, but he's still getting slowed by Jaina. Cleanse having to be used. He dodges the Frostbolt, but it's too late, and down goes Youngbeck.
Down goes Youngbeck. The German team was on a pursuit here, and they got 2 kills, which they desperately need. Now they do have enough time and manpower to descend down into the mines and grab all those ghoul camps, especially the ones that are closer located to the Danish team. So on the right-hand side, this is exactly where you want to pick those up, so you make it harder for the Danes to pick them up themselves without taking too many risks. Now, there were a couple of things going really well for the German team. The Ring of Frost, much better this time, but most importantly, it was the Stim-grown Draven who just chunked Stitches down like he was made out of butter.
And the damage output from Denmark is suffering issues, and this is due to the combination of Ominous Wraith from the Yorick and the System Shock coming in from Morales, the damage-reducing grenade.
Now, Born seems to be isolated. That could be a good pickup. ETC is an elusive counter, and if you focus him too much, it might actually backfire. Let's see how this is going to go.
He has Mosh again.
What?
He drops it, but Bless Shield will interrupt and kill him. Nunia is down to target. Ring is landed, though. The root is there able to get off. Things gets shocked, though. Jaina already down. Brain is now just a distraction to keep the rest of his team alive. Dreamy looking for more, but they're already out of the mines.
Yeah.
Brain will sacrifice his life to buy time for Minx and Ribby to take a camp. That is risky.
Not sure if I agree with the call here to go for the all-in YOLO mosh pit. That was a very lonely dance party.
It was a very lonely dance party and a very long cooldown.
Yeah.
Out for them to now have to wait for, as the skulls are being picked up by Denmark. Germany, they've already won the mine phase, though. They have 66 out of the 100 skulls available. This fort is still alive, and that is still to be thank you, Sappers. They will solve this issue.
Here we go, so they take it down.
Bit of a waste for one single Sapper to kill off that little health, but the fort is down. It's still XP going over to Germany.
And this game is going already a lot more evenly than the first one. Both teams are neck to neck when it comes to experience. 16 is going to be around the corner very shortly, and both teams with relatively even progress on the map. However, there's still a fort available for Germany in the top lane, whereas in the bottom lane, it had just been destroyed. So maybe a slight advantage in terms of golem progress here.
And guess where the Denmark golem's going? It's actually going into that lane. Both teams...
2 mercenary camps are defending it.
Yeah, the mercenary camps are defending it, although one of them did get slightly distracted. It is going to proxy the wave instead, as we will see Germany joining up with their golem.
Mosh Pit is ready in 25. They need to wait until it is ready if they want to get anything done. In the meantime, the Danish defenses are looking solid. The slowing stance is good. The Stitcher's Hook is a permanent threat. Leoric, in the meantime, doing his nasty business, reducing damage.
He's scouting out, reducing damage, having a wonderful time as Brain continues to frontline and keep pressure on. Born also moving forward, acting like he has Mosh Pit, even though he doesn't actually have it for 2 seconds, but that's the point. A little bit of mind games coming in as Nunia is hooked in, drops the Ring of Frost, doesn't get anyone. Simplone is dropped, but they're still committed as Rhaegar is getting focused down. Born will get killed in counter as Biggs being forced to roll away. Brain is too low for this fight to continue. He dodges the Chromie shots. They're still alive. And it looks like we are going to see Nunia. Oh,
they get another one.
1 for 1, but now Brimmy is too far forward. He was trying to keep Nunia alive.
The boss got the keep, though. The boss got the keep. This is not too bad.
But Ribby is still going to die for this. Again, we see a situation where Germany lose fights but get objectives.
Yeah, this was overall still worth it in my opinion. Trading 3 for 2 is not the worst of outcomes, especially when you get permanent damage as a result. The keep is down. That means catapults in the bottom lane. And overall, granting how wonkily that fight started, Nunia once again didn't hit a single member of that Ring of Nothing. So... That's okay. They salvaged the situation pretty okay.
They did. The Ring of Frost was an interesting counter to Nunia getting hooked. It could have worked if Denmark had committed onto him. But instead, they did react very well and backed up. Didn't get themselves all killed off in that ring.
All right. We do not know how much damage the top lane took, but it wasn't really that much. The top keep on the side of Team Germany looks really fresh and healthy. In the meantime, the team needs to regroup. Morales just respawned. All of their heroic abilities will be ready soon, but so are the Danish.
That's a healthy lane.
That's a very healthy lane. And you can really see how important it is to get over the 50 skull mark. Once you get enough pools, your golem is going to be significantly more powerful.
The war of attrition working currently in favor of Germany. 7 kills to 9 thanks to their early kills, but Denmark getting more and more kills every single time they scuffle. But Germany, they're still ahead in XP. They are certainly ahead in the structure game.
I really like how Team Denmark actually adapted to dealing with Greymane. No longer will he be able to do whatever he wants to. The blinds by Johanna are starting to kick in. The overall protection game for the backline is working a lot better now for them. But Mings, we have to highlight this guy. He's been playing the game for 8 months, and already he's putting up such a strong performance on the Greymane twice in a row now.
Yep, and so far the Greymane, like you said, he has been putting on a great performance, but I do want to say, the Jada has not been a detriment.
No.
That is the first thing we can say there. It's dropped some serious damage and seems to be picking up kills even when it dies. It trades well.
Yeah, it's hard to evaluate really how impactful Nunia was on the Jaina, because so many of his Ring of Frost missed entirely, but yet, as you said, somehow, some way, they still managed to get kills.
Okay, mines by Germany in exchange for push by Denmark. This will force ports out of Germany. Born and Nunia having to finish off their skulls, otherwise those ports would have been denied.
All right, teleports are happening right now. Germany needs to defend this. Denmark already getting so much value, and the tower line is no more. And only now are the Germans coming back here. Is it going to be enough damage in time for the Danish to finish this keep? I think they're retreating for now.
The keep will survive. The question is, will Denmark get out with all of this damage? There is the slow coming in from Braid and the damage reduction. Stimdrone is committed. This is a committed engagement. Dreamy with the timeout, keeping himself alive. Dizzy Dwarf gets that central, keeping him alive.
Oh!
Johanna is causing mayhem in the backline. Brain is the first to fall as Valor is trying to turn it round. Mix getting healed by Ribby here. Needs to change the healing onto Nunia as Nunia drops huge damage.
Zoning Mosh.
One,
Gets
two, and that's enough as Youngback is moving in. Interrupts the Mosh.
No way, no way.
Survives. Ford is potentially looking for more, but they can't get close.
I say Ribby, you say MVP. That Lieutenant Morales was incredible, healing both Jaina and Greymane when they needed it the most. And in the meantime, 2 catapults, 3 catapults even knocking on the core. Denmark needs to defend that. It was such a valiant effort for the most part. But then ETC turned around, nice zoning Mosh, and the German team could retaliate, but it was ever so close.
The Mosh picked up 1, and that's all it needed. And that was what stopped Johanna from causing chaos in the backline. Johanna realized, oh, I need to interrupt this, or it will be a zoning Mosh for a very long time. She did so, and that's what allowed Jaina and Greymane the freedom to keep doing damage.
And all those death timers are really starting to hurt the Danish team now. The mines were basically German territory here. Can they defend a 100-0 Golem? It's going to be so hard. Whatever. It speaks in their favor, though, that the Golem is going to spawn in the top lane and not in the bottom lane, because they still have a keep their Tetcher.
It does, however, mean that the Golem will be distracting the defense. So if catapults build up again, that could be a serious problem. But they were able to clear, and the catapults that were pushing core only got a single percentage.
Denmark's tournament life is on the line. If they lose this map, they are out. Hungary and Germany are going to qualify. They need to hold this, and they're trying to aggressively push this lane out as much as they can, trying to go for a haymaking, playmaking hook here by Dizzy Dwarf. I think they're not even willing to defend. They're trying to put the aggressive on.
They really are. They're looking for any kill. They can try and get this keep in. The Oryx in the backline. Ominous Wraith. Ring of Frost once again hits very little. Chromie damage is huge. Mix getting focused, as we did see the upgraded Ring of Frost trying to get the engage there as Diamond gets Ancestral. That's the Valor still alive as the Oryx goes down finally in this fight. Youngback stays alive thanks to the indestructible. Nunia is separated from his team. Chromie combo gets him.
Can the Danes do that? They destroyed 2 German players. Only the keep is what separates them from the core. The boss is already marching in. It's 100-0 boss, but I think, Tetcher, the Danes could do it.
Bosch is available. Boss moving in. Board trying to distract as Mix is focused down. The shield is still up. Death Bosch is available even if Board goes down. Hit the cleanse.
The cleanse is good.
Board desperately trying to defend the Greymane.
Youngback
Alive doing the damage. Youngback goes down. Indestructible not available.
Then
Mix is staying alive thanks to Ribby. We're seeing Valdon. He's keeping on the core, but everyone
energy.
distracted. Dizzy Dwarf trying to focus. Valdon is still alive on the
60%
still going. Dizzy Dwarf holding the line for the moment. He's got so much health. Valdon finally taken down by the Drain Home as Dizzy Dwarf is the last bastion. Chromie being taken down. Dizzy Dwarf has no health left. He will get taken out, and Germany will take the fight, and the boss is on the core.
Germany hold the core at 41%. The 100 Golem is knocking hard on their enemy's core. It's so many cooldowns, so many death timers, and I'm not sure if the Danes can hold this. The shield has dropped, and the Germans are pouring into the base through the bottom lane that had already been opened before. Catapults are hammering in, and it looks like Team Germany has done it. They take game number 2 and kick Denmark out of the tournament.
Denmark's dreams lie in tatters as Germany takes the second map, bringing it to a 1-1, but shutting out any attempt of Denmark making it into the playoffs.
Nexus Games, what are you doing to our hearts? We see one heartbreaking series after the others. Dreams are shattered for the Danish team, and the German team, with a last effort defense, are securing themselves the spot in the quarterfinals.
Another insane game here at the Nexus Games. They just keep happening, Tetcher.
Yeah. Oh my God. An exhausting game for both the players. Germany on the edge of defeat there with that Denmark core attempt. Getting 2 kills. They've tried to end the game, but they were just so short.
I got the impression that the Danish team was focusing too hard on getting kills there against the 3 remaining German players. They didn't attack the core for the first minute or so.
The Greymane is such an important hero to kill, but when you are distracting and giving the opponent's team a chance to respawn, then it becomes an issue.
The issue we had on the core is that Denmark, they were not together. There was half the team focusing the core, there was half the team focusing on kills. If they committed to one, I'm sure they could have had at least a much closer attempt. However, we do have to look at the replays. So the first replay I have is the 10 vs 10 on bot fight, and it's the recurring theme is that Germany get the objective and Denmark win the fight. So it starts off, we engage onto ETC. Look at Valnod, he's so far out of position here, and he ends up in really bad. Look at Nunir below. He casts Ringer Frost, and he's going to catch Veigar, and he's also going to catch Stitches. Nyman with the fantastic main event cancels the mosh pit, as he did so many times, and basically secures the fight from what would have been certain destruction actually for the Danish team. They're also going to pick up Leoric on the tail end of this fight, but look at the objectives. 79 Skull Golem already taken before that fight started.
And
Absolutely.
What was what we said before? Germany, they might not have the best team fight, but they know how to play the maps, the unusual maps, but the maps nonetheless.
And it must be it must feel so disheartening for the Danish team. I'm still, by the way, super agitated about that game because that was not easy to cast. But it must feel so disheartening for the Danish team here to win team fight after team fight.
Yeah.
Nyman, you said it, he played out of his mind on that Vala. He interrupted every single mosh pit for the most part, and yet they couldn't take it because those golems were too powerful.
In the second out of the 3 replays I have for you, we're again going to see Denmark winning a fight, but 64 skulls already on Germany, so they engage onto ETC. He's out of position. Now look at Youngbeck. He's so on point. Mosh pit comes out, instant blitz shield. Waits for the mosh pit to stun first, so it's 120 seconds. Perfect play. Now he goes into suicide. I want you guys to watch Dreamy on this Kermie. So Nunir, he's in ice block. Dreamy, he's waiting. The perfect W and Q. Almost one-shots Minx. Almost. So close, but it does not. And they win the fight, they take the 3-for-1 trade, but they do not win the objective. And time after time, that happens for the Danish team. So heartbreaking.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So heartbreaking. The fact is, they can still win this series, but they now can't go through.
I also want to highlight Ribby on that Morales. He had a really good game sense of when to switch targets for the healing beam. He never really gave himself too far away. Maybe we're going to talk about that in the next clip.
The third clip we have is the 16 vs 16 on bot keep, and again the same thing happens. So Nuna gets hooked, the Ringer Frost so close but does not connect. Valnod, again slightly too far forward. Mosh pit goes out, gets interrupted by everything, 3 different things. However, so Bjorn goes down again, it's 1-for-1. Now I want you guys to watch Dreamy again on this Chromie. He's so good. He's casting W after W, so close to killing Nook, he does not quite get it. But obviously Nunir goes down. He does manage to get the Q that pierces through Stitches and last hits the Valor to take her down. Bibby also does end up going down at the end here as well. So again, Denmark, they win the fight. They take a 3-for-2, but they lost the keep and their golem did not get anything but the 4.
Yeah. Really close game. It is actually insanity. I don't think we've ever had a play day with so many back and forth upsets here and just crazy games all across the board. I think it is safe to say that we tip our heads, our fedoras, in favor of the Danish team. They gave us one hell of a tournament. Unfortunately, it was not meant to be. And congratulations to Hungary and Germany who qualified for the quarterfinals. Now, we still have one more series to go, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.